Welcome again, guys. In this chapter, we are going to understand the flex container properties. Following are commonly used flex container properties. The first is flex direction. We have seen about the introduction of flex direction in our previous chapter, but in this chapter, we will see it in detail. Then we have a flex wrap, which basically specify the flex item should be wrapped or not. Flex flow, that is the shorthand notation for flex direction and flex wrap. Justify content, it specify how to horizontally align the flex items when the items do not use all available space on the main axis. Its values are flex start, flex end, center, space around, and then space between. Align items, it specify how to vertically align the flex item. Its values are flex start, flex end, center, baseline, and stretch. We will see all this in action in our demo. Here we have boilerplate code for the demo, and our preview right now look like this. So you can see we have a six boxes, okay, inside a div with class box container and then justify content as a class. And there is a CSS apply to universal selector. Okay, you already know what does it mean. Okay, let's apply the CSS to box container, and then border 1 pixel solid hash AAA, and then margin let's give 1 rand. Okay, now save it, and then uh, let's use display as flex. Okay, then it goes on the horizontal axis. Let's have some gap between the items. Okay, now let's apply the CSS to boxes that we can get from justify content and h2. Okay, or box container to h2, but we have box container can be used for other purposes, so we have to use justify content h2. Okay, so justify content and h2, and then inside it we have a background color as royal blue. Okay, and there you go. And now let's see have some padding as well. Okay, padding as well. Okay, there you go. And then let's color as white, and width as 200 pixel. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's the 200 pixel. Okay, because it got shrink, so that's why it is looking like that. Okay, and now let's see these properties: flex direction and then flex wrap. That's the display flex. Now if I say flex direction and the column, and there you go, basically it goes into the column direction we have seen already. And we can also do flex direction to column reverse, and if I save it, then you can see our items are now reversed. Similarly, the default is row. Okay, we can also do row reverse. Okay, you can see this, so it's very handy when we want to reverse the items in the container. We also have flex wrap. Okay, let's see right now, just I can uncomment this. Okay, now let's see what happened. Okay, so let me do like this. Here it is reverse. Okay, and if I basically okay try to squeeze it, okay, then you can see here, okay, it is basically after a certain period, okay, our box are getting hidden. Okay, so if I do flex wrap as wrap, okay, and then save it, then all the item will be visible. Okay, but they will be wrapped. Okay, here you can see, so that's the default. As soon as I squeeze my browser, okay, you can see now that particular item can't fit in the whole horizontal row, so that goes into the second row now. Okay, similarly if I goes more down, Okay, so this is now a more like a responsive layout. Okay, you can see this is mobile layout. All the items are now mobile friendly. Okay, so this is one of the basis for the mobile friendly design or responsive design. And now we can have no wrap as well. Okay, that's a default one. Or we can have inherit, that is basically get the flex wrap property from the parent. Okay, so let me comment it out. And now let's try to understand what is justify content is. So justify content, and now let me, okay, full size it. And now if I do justify content center, okay, then you can see our all the items are now center aligned. Okay, if I do flex start, okay, it goes from here, which is because our flex direction is row reverse. Okay, so it goes from here, flex start, and flex end goes at the end. Similarly, we have something called as space between. Okay, so what it does is it basically divide equal space around each item. Okay, you can see here. And then we have something called as space around, which basically give equal space around each element. You can see this. Okay, in case of space between, two items have the same space between them. In case of space around, the space around the element is equal. Okay, now let's try to understand the next property, that is align items. So let me uncomment this, and if I save it, we got something like this. Okay, so let's try to, okay, give the similar, okay, box layout for our align items as well. Save it, and there you go. Now to properly demonstrate it, we need to give some height. So let's add the height, align items, and then height as a 200 pixel. Okay, and here you go. So by default our align item value is stretch. Okay, so let me show you. Align item is stretch. Okay, that's why it is looking like this. Okay, and if I change this to, different, do it to center, then you can see our items are now centered aligned vertically. Okay, and if I do flex start, okay, then it start from the top, and similarly for flex end, it goes to the end. Okay, so for most of the footer you would like to, specify flex end, right? And then we have something called as baseline. Okay, so that I will show you, because it looks like similar to flex start, but it is not. Now let's try to understand what is baseline first. So I have an image here. The baseline comes from the typography world, and from this diagram you will clearly understand what is baseline. So baseline is basically that imaginary line from where most of the characters in the word, you know align. You can see that S, then P character, H, I, and X. Okay, and here if you see box 1, box 2, box 3, all the baseline of all the text inside it are seen. Now let's try to update the height of some of the text, that we can easily do. Okay, so now let's try to capture our S2, and then nth child, second child, font size to 4 rem, and save, and here you go. Okay, now the box is different. Okay, and now if you give padding bottom as 2 r 3 rem, and there you go. Now the box looks bit center, but it is now the baseline, due to baseline. Okay, the box alignment is different. Similarly, if you try to do it for third child, okay, that is this child, and try to give font as 2 or 3, and then it looks different. Okay, so hope you understand how this baseline works here. The most common value is center, which you will try to use mostly. Okay, and then it looks like in the center align. And if you also specify the justify content to center, then it will basically comes into the center. Here you go. Okay, so this is one of the mostly used properties, okay, to center the element within the container. I hope through this chapter you understood how to align the items within the container, and you will use this in your project effectively. Thank you for watching. See you in the next chapter.